For today's video I have this Panasonic. This is a K mechanism. They do have super drive written on them. I thought they might have as well. Still got a tape in it. That's a bad sign. This one supposedly doesn't work. Probably got a tape jammed in it. It is a hi-fi one, NV-HD100 GA, whatever that means, country code or something. Hopefully it is actually an Australian one. Does have secure or something on the mains thing there. Let's make sure it is a 240 volt one. That would be really embarrassing if I'd ended up with a foreign one, but pretty unlikely. It's got a VHF output, so definitely an Australian one, I think. The old test signal on and off. I would have thought this would be a UHF machine, but this was kind of getting into that era when they were still on VHF, some of them. 4-head long play, hi-fi stereo, made in Japan, a few things there. Oh yeah, you can change the remote mode if you've got a couple of different ones, like people that did video editing and that sort of thing. They often had Panasonics because they were good quality, but also because you could run multiple remote codes and stuff without messing them up. So video, TV, hi-fi, normal mix, stereo, bilingual. And yeah, not much else exciting to see here, but these were a fairly plasticky mechanism. Fixed a lot of these machines, not necessarily this particular model, but this K mechanism one. Yeah, it's got the VTR12 code. Not sure if this is the actual correct remote for it, but it's close. It doesn't want to come off. This we can chuck a couple of batteries in that, see if it at least lights up. Half the time there's faults in the remotes, because they had a pretty hard life. Yeah, we've got something flashing up there. That's right, it does some TV functions. Oh yeah, you could set all your timer record stuff on here. A lot of muck on there. And then send it to the, I remember that, set all the date and time, and then transmit it once it's set to the video recorder. Well, it's got SP and LP, so that's a good sign. I can't see, I don't know what a hi-fi one would have that another remote doesn't. Maybe some audio settings. To be honest, I don't think it probably would be much different. Just inputs of audio out, and that could be something to do with it. So I guess we should probably get the cover off first. I haven't even dug out a figure 8 power cord for it yet. I reckon, looking at the fact it's got a tape in it, may well be jammed up, but it may not be anything to do with it. It may just be that someone tested it and left the tape in there. But they were fairly common for getting tape stuck. A lot of the time just a little motor pulley would break in them, split and start slipping. Well, it's not laced up, so... Oh, we've got a broken tape though. I can see the end sticking out. There's the leader tape. So someone probably has tried to... Well, they've at least cut it, I think, because, you know, it is laced up. Even though the tape's not there to show it, it's got the guides up around the heads. So better check the heads are still there, I guess, because wouldn't put it past someone who messed around and broke them. And where's the half load arm? Yeah, that's up under there, I think. So yeah, we've got a couple of arms up near the pinch roller there. Yeah, otherwise that arm swings back. I think it swings back into here somewhere. So probably a jammed mech. I think we can definitely say a jammed mech. Can't remember, did these actually have access to underneath the board? I think they might have. But a lot of these I think were the mid-drive type machines, and taking the bottom off, or most of them didn't even really, yeah, the bottom was just a bit of metal shielding in case you sat it too close to a television or something, and there was nothing really under the bottom cover. So I'm not 100% sure with this. It's not much better than that. But this was the common problem, loading motor, and between this little worm wheel you see on it and the actual shaft of the motor, there's a little piece that cracks. And there's the big, you can't even see it, you've really got to take the mech out through the top. There's a big slider plate under all of this circuit board and stuff. They used to snap. I don't know if the master cams were in these. not even sure where the master cam is. These are kind of a bit like a hangover from the G mechanism a bit, I think. Not everything's on top and stuff like in the Z Mech. I might even just plug it in and we'll see what it does, because it's always fun to see what they do, see what weird noises they make and stuff, how desperately it tries to get itself going. Is that actually a lead there? No. And we better make sure that the electronics at least partially work. That sound as I plugged it in. Sounds a bit like a slipping motor to me. Of course, it's all over before you get to see anything. Or a jammed mech. That could even be jammed. It could be both. The motor's trying to run. It's a bit hard to know from that. It can be just that when the motor hits a tight spot it slips, or it could be that this actually has a tight spot because something else is broken, like that big plate underneath. Whoops, that was escaped. But you've got to, I think, possibly take the bottom off to get this off anyway. That, and can we get the mech out is the next problem. I get a feeling these don't come out with the tape stuck in them. The wonderful designs manufacturers did that, of course, the customer then try and force the tape out, especially if it was a bit of their adult entertainment or something they didn't want anyone to see, and completely destroy the thing. I think there's another screw, I forget now, under the front somewhere, I think. Surprisingly, I remember that Z mechanism better than this one. Now, is there a way of winding these out? I think it comes off this pinch roller part, is it? Jeez, I actually don't remember this one very well. There's something up the front for sure, and it's in this corner, I think, so I'm pretty sure there's a screw probably under that hole or something. Yeah, silly design really, making them so you can't remove them. I think there's a screw under there, and so you can't even get the cassette housing out. Trying to remember now how we did it. So maybe these have a mode like those other ones. You can possibly, well, it depends if anything moves, possibly wind this gear I'm not sure which way I'm going is the other problem, but something's winding. You can see this other gear under here turning. Something went clunk. That's a good sign. I suspect we might just have a slipping motor. I can see something near the mode switch moving. Sounds a bit like it might be taking tension off. Tape guides are still up there though. Often you'll hear it. It's this slide plate. Should be going across that way, I think. And I can't really see if it's moving yet. I think it's slowly creeping that way. But this can be quite a long process. I think I can't remember where the connector is. Sometimes you can hook a power supply up to the motor and wind it through. A bit risky because if something is jammed you may break something more. Though mostly in these mechs, if it's broken it probably doesn't matter, but that is moving across. Have the guides slacking off? I think they're still in situ. If it wasn't so greasy, it looks like someone's greased this one up, I'd put my finger in there and wind it more. You can put your finger down there and pretty much just wind the gear. It's a little bit quicker I think, but not much different. What's making that noise? Something's creaking. Am I winding a heap of tension into something that's about to go snap? Well, these are still jammed in place. It's possible that I'm not doing it any good. Wish I could remember. I've got a gear on there. how these mechs worked. It's possible you could possibly take the top off. Yeah, it's been so long since I worked on one. But yeah, something sure made a weird noise, but it's not building tension here, which is usually where you'll know if you're going to break something. Where is the connector to these motors? Must be underneath. Oh, maybe it's those two pins there. Yeah, I'm not really game to hook up because it's been so long I can't remember. But it takes an amazingly long time to wind one of these decks through. Yeah, something's getting looser, I think. Surprised we haven't got no tape guide movement yet though, because that should happen fairly quickly, I thought. Oh yeah, still as tight as, so what else is in there? Tape guides, when they're extended, should be the end of the mech pretty much. So they should be the first thing to let off, and I've been winding quite a bit and nothing's happening. Come on. Yeah, unfortunately I'm going to have to pull this one apart, I think, to remind myself how to pull one apart. Oh, now something's happening. It's getting tighter. I'm not sure I should keep going with that, but it might be alright. It's not super tight. What are we doing? So this could be that maybe I'm starting to eject the tape or something. Oh, is it? No, it's still in place. I haven't done anything. For all my winding, the pinch roller was off. I can't remember if that was in place or not. Yeah, I think that's all I'm doing is moving the pinch roller. Because I think that was up against the capstan as you'd expect, and the guides, half load arms, whatever, were in amongst that. So I think that's all we were achieving, but now things are getting tight again. Ooh, that's getting very tight. I'm just slipping on the grease mostly. No, I don't like the feel of that too much. It's turning. No idea what I'm actually rotating that. It's no big deal if you break a few bits anyway on these, because the plastic parts are normally pretty easy to get. So I think I'll only just move this guy back. Maybe it's starting to, that pinch roller should lift up at some point. God, this is slow. Well, let's the other thing is to power it, and it'll probably go right back where it was. Ooh, well that's what it's trying to do. Can I make the... Ooh, something's better than it was, I think. Maybe not. I better put it right back to where its old position was. Yeah. Damn it. Probably because some idiot cut the tape, it now has a reel issue where it can't spin the reels, and it sucked all the tape back in there. So often if they can't spin both the reels, they're turning one reel on, the other one isn't going, they won't do much more than that anyway. Can you get this bit out? I don't think you easily can. There's a little clip there. I might even take the risk. The problem is when you undo these clips you risk breaking the mech, because it's pretty brittle plastic, I think. Where is the little clip? It's... oh no, it's in here. Oh damn it, oh yeah, I can see it. There's a clip right under there. And probably a second one there. I don't know if this even comes out. It looks like is there a third one? Only seems to be two. These do snap off very easily though, I know that. These mechs are very flimsy and that was 20 years ago. Imagine what they're like now. The Mech ones were pretty similar. You just can't seem to put them. I'm pressing the wrong thing, that doesn't help. There we go. This may be another way of doing it if you don't want to spend all day winding gears. Come on, you little. Is that bit there clipped in any way? No. Come on. Finally. I can't see the other one. That'll be right, it's right in there somewhere. They've hidden it where you can't get to it, I think. Brilliant job, guys. Oh, there it is. Maybe I can get from above. Ooh. Not good. Any way I can get that to lift. Probably haven't achieved a thing. You can undo that screw. I'm pretty sure there's another screw under here. It's just a silly design, really. But I would have had a method to get these out. I just can't remember what it is. So it's got a long gold one on this side. Problem is, I think I can get 3 of 4 screws out and that's it. But if I can get it to disengage from the gear or whatever runs it, and by lifting one side maybe we can get it to rise, or maybe, oh there we go, finally something's given away. That's the key. So that's the sort of thing you got to do. Do I even need to take this Mech fully out? Well, I've probably got it out of whack now, haven't I? I've got it out of whack with that gear. Yeah, it's kind of definitely got some bits similar to a Mech. Oh, there's the other, that's right. I thought it was, I knew you had to push the cassette housing in a bit. At least there's no connections on these ones, unlike the Mech. And we've got a screw right there. Yeah, not a great design, that. Does it come off the head itself? Yeah. And I think you're going to pull that, pull that, pull that, pull one little voltage regulator or whatever it is. These plugs. Come on. Horrible little connectors I use. Sometimes I need to put some side cutters on there or something. Just they do have little clip things in there. Yeah, it's coming. And one more connector down here. Oh, right, we've got a dew sensor. Of course we do. And it looks like a motor. Where is that? Ah, God, so you have to take the head. Like I say, been a while since I've done one yet. We've got to possibly remove the head preamp here. When you do them all the time, they're nice and easy. When you haven't done one for 20 years or something, must be going on that. Not so easy, but I thought I would remember these a bit better. I think that should just lift out, but I could be wrong. Here it comes. Don't remember them being quite this difficult to get out. Another one of these horrible connectors. Probably hasn't been done for so long it's gone hard. Okay, we can get all that junk out of the way. And we're getting into the belly of the beast now. Hopefully things look a bit more familiar from this side. Be careful because I've got these record switches, or record tab switches sticking up, so you don't want to put any force on that while you're unscrewing things. Wouldn't be surprised if this plastic plate snapped in half or something, but who knows. Could be the motor slipping still, though to me it doesn't seem like it. once we get all this junk out of the way. That's our end sensors. And that's right, this mode switch sensor goes a bit tarnished. I remember these are connections on the mode switch itself there, all tarnished, and I think inside they're all tarnished as well. This plate, I think it used to snap somewhere in the middle here, or was it up that end? Something. Oh yeah, no, this, I think where the master cam rotates it up this end, there's a metal pin in under here or something, because you take this little cover off, and I think it used to break around that pin somewhere. Is that another one there? It must be for that as well. Oh yeah, this has got the very much a hangover of the G mechanism. You think they would have learned and gone for something completely different. But to be fair, the G, as long as you didn't abuse it, was a pretty good mech. It's just a real pain to work. Oh, is that busted? No. Oh yes. Something doesn't look right there. No, that's broken, I think. Yeah, there's a crack there, and that's moved forward. It was almost always this plate that had to be replaced in them, I think. So there's some sort of pin here pushing against it that's damaged it, and we can take this motor off. Guess we should come in a bit closer, would be a bit smarter. So that screw out of there, it's also held on that little pin there. And do we have to pop something here? This little plastic bit, I think, has to be popped. I can't remember how I used to do that. Just squeeze it with something, push it while pushing down. Hopefully that didn't just pop back in. I bet you did, didn't you? Guys, because I bumped the Mech. But even the slightest thing will make that jump back in, I think. Oh, go away, wire. I thought they actually were a bit looser than that. It feels rather tight. Well, that's right, it's on this other pin. I think you've got to kind of lift it there, and then that bit you slide sideways like so. And then, yeah, we've got the, oh god, 4 little clips. All this horrible plastic clip together stuff they made in the later times. And there's 2 pins going in the front of that motor from memory too, so you've got to really mess around to get this out. It really doesn't want to come, does it? Did you have to, oh, you might have even had to force them out, I think. Yeah, that's it. And that gear comes off. But we've got to check that. Every one of these you had to check. And this is a little motor coupling piece covered in grease. That isn't normal. Yeah, it's got a split in it. I'll find some paper towel or something to clean that off. Don't think they normally had all that grease in there. Someone's, oh, so it just slid off on its own. That shouldn't come off that easy. So these are a super common issue, and it's got the little split in it. I think you can pretty much just glue them on, but with this much grease on it, probably not a good idea. Bit of araldite in there can actually fix them. I don't know how long they last. I always used to replace them. Something I used to have in stock all the time with those things. And these plates, I probably would have still had 1 or 2 if I think I gave them away to another repairer once I was sort of done with it. I was doing a bit of contracting work for them, so I think I gave them all my old VCR parts pretty much because I didn't think I'd ever want them again, and it was nearly true. Why doesn't that rotate? I think that would turn that real. Oh, something's stiff there, I think. Or is it just, oh, because the brake band's still on it? That would be it. That's okay. Because our arm's out here, take that off, and yeah, free. Put it on, not free at all. But now that we've got rid of that, we should be able to kind of wind this Mech by hand, and as you can see, it's trying to escape here because it's broken. There's a, what is that plastic bit? It's part of, oh, it's this arm, is it? Yeah, that arm seems a bit tighter than usual too. How does that, I think you've got to lift the pinch roller first, but of course this doesn't want to do the pinch roller. Probably if I just let that rise. Yeah, still nothing happening. Or am I going the wrong way? That's always the other possibility. Here we go, arms are coming back. Pinch roller's trying to come back. Ooh, but not succeeding. Something's out of whack. in all the gears. We're winding this gear here, and this right part should rise. Was there something funny with that? The problem is you don't want to force anything, or you'll just end up breaking stuff. So I think we'll remove the plate. A couple of little clips. Get it off me. Pretty sure this has got more grease than it's meant to. Which is probably not a bad thing. Someone's probably replaced these bits before. I'll be surprised if they haven't. And that's, I think, something used to chew out in those gears sometimes. But that's our split right here. You could almost bend that back in place possibly just to get it going again. But they usually snap somewhere. I think they used to snap right across here almost in half. And I think they used to come like this in the packet with all the grease pre-fitted to them from memory. Not smeared out as much as that, but little blobs already in the packet or something strange like that. So that's the little arm that was causing issues around that broken bit. And we've got these two tape guide arm things. That's not coming back though. That's because there's nothing to pull this tension arm thing back. So you've got to do that by hand, because there's normally something part of the mech would pull that back so that when these come down they don't crash into it. But we've got this pinch roller section, I think. Oh no, that's one thing I forgot, everything falls out. That's handy. So we might have to put them back in place, or at least we've got that out from where it's meshed in. Oh, I've got that the wrong way around. What am I doing? That should go like that. I assume it came from that side, or does it go the other way around? This is going to be the fun bit. That way, I think. Yeah, that looks more like it. Yeah, that was it. That looks familiar. No, that's catching a bit though. Not the greatest things. Pretty flimsy. Yeah, because this gear was up. That was actually under that slide plate. I think we've got, should be some marks here of where they align. I think is it that middle bit there next to that flat bit? This is where I forget everything. Let's see where it sits. Okay, I think they're roughly where they should go, but I'll better check some alignment marks. And that fell off there, I guess. We don't need that in place. It's best to check every single one of these gears, every tooth on every gear for damage. I don't think those ones normally fail. These, on the other hand, the master cam, they get damaged. The annoying thing is the pinch roller's still not working, so I've got to be careful of those. Tape guides don't drop out. There's something wrong with that. Ah, I've wound it round by hand. That feels rather stiff. That's what I wonder if that was just stiff. That could have been all that's wrong with it. It's been sitting around so long that this half load arm, much like the sharps, has gone stiff. I reckon that's what might have caused the whole problem in the first place. But I still don't know why this won't turn. Let's just make sure I'm going the right way. Ah, I think, yeah, I'm going the wrong way maybe. No, still, that refuses to go. It gets to there and then it jams. So we've damaged something. Where are the gears? I think we might as well get the mode switch out of the way so we can see more of what's going on. And yeah, I've gotta find the alignment stuff for this, because I don't think I can remember it. I could probably work it out, but does that just, yeah, that just comes out. It's in the other bit that's the problem. Let's just strip everything down. I can't see any damage to that gear. Doesn't mean it hasn't got something on the upper side, I think. Maybe we should just take them out. Are they going to stay there? I bet they're not. This is the problem. Everything comes apart. Don't normally have to pull them into this many bits. Or you probably wouldn't pull this many bits apart at one time maybe, but anyway. Whoop. More plastic crud. That should just... Ugh, something does not feel happy there. I wonder if that's stiff as well. Ugh, I think we've got sticky grease disease is what's wrong with this. So this machine actually... Yeah, to that gear we've got two... an arrow and a dot that point to each other. Oh yeah, and there's a big hole here with a big hole. This which one is it? Where's it gone? That is stiff. I suspect this shaft is stiff because this runs fine now that I got rid of that pinch roller. So and that's got like a brass bushing thing in there. Don't feel too bad, but then again, yeah, as soon as, oh man, that's weird. It slips 1 minute and yeah, that's just binding. That needs a clean. I probably in theory should take that whole piece up, but I don't know that I need to bother. Yeah, I probably do need to bother, unfortunately. So we've got to get, what is this fiddly little, I think that's got to come off there. And then this has got to come off. Yeah, this is probably the most I've ever had one in pieces. And this is the big hassle of VCRs in the modern world, is you do have to pull them a lot more apart. Yeah, that's just lifts. You take the little clip off. I can go with that, and the brown bit should come off. And finally, at least we know the alignment of those two. Yeah, that's actually the same thing. It rotates right at the bottom. As soon as you start lifting it, there's like a ring of black ring there of some sort of, yeah, and just grease muck. That's at its day. So I'll get some metho onto that and clean all that off. Should just come straight off, I think. Yeah, it's going back to nice shiny metal easily. Yeah. Easy as anything. That all just dissolves nicely. So that means this gear, what's the cotton bud? Shut up that hole. Simple as that. It's probably enough. I don't know if I should put grease right down there. Let's get those holes lined up. What's this grease like? It actually looks alright, but yeah, it's fine. And probably need to clean that pole off, or post. And we've got to get, well, we've got that other bit out. Let's get, does that just lift off? God, that is tight. I think that's coming. It just doesn't want to. And we're going to have to clean this brass out. And you can see that sort of horrible greeny looking grease. Don't know why it goes green, possibly because that brass is actually, it's a bit of verdigris stuff. Yeah, it's a bit on the difficult side to get down in there and clean it out. I don't know what I can use for that. Sometimes you just do the old soak everything in metho kind of trick. Soak the shaft, soak it all down in there. And then just use the actual pin there to rub it up and down, and that's usually enough to get the worst of it out of there. It certainly feels nice and free now. You can even dismantle these cotton buds a bit and do the old poke it through with a screwdriver trick or something, as long as you get rid of the old grease off that. Careful not to scrape it. That'll probably get the worst of it off there. And we'll let that evaporate a bit, and then once you put new grease on there, it should be fine. Always behind something. So I was actually hoping for a reprieve from changing greasing cassette players and stuff, but here I am on a different sort of cassette player doing the same thing. I think everything should be redone or aligned. That I think points out. It's an actual end by the look at it. There is a little dot on there too. There's another dot there, so I know that wiped off whatever that was. I think that slot goes to the cassette housing alignment, and I guess I should put some, it's always had some grease there in case it rubs against this plastic thing. Put at least a little bit on there for now. And where did this, yeah, it went over like that. And one clip. At least I can put something back together, but I'm going to have to get some parts probably, if they're still available. I'm not even sure it's really worth spending the money on this thing, but I guess I might as well fix one last Mech for the hell of it. So this may well have had an issue due to the motor, but this other part all seems to be seized up later on. That is rubbing a bit on that plastic. Probably more than I would have thought. So it still feels a bit stiff once you put that in place. I wonder if that plastic shifted over time. Yeah, it's not great. I mean, I don't think that's going to stop anything working, but I don't remember it scraping. Might have to put a bit more grease on there to try and smear it so it smears all over the... Although at one point, I don't know if this gear's gone right down in there, do I? I reckon that's what's wrong. I assumed it had bottomed out, I think, but I don't know, she's definitely sitting there. I can see the brass is hitting on the die cast, or close enough. So we're not too high, I don't think. Yeah, it's getting pretty loose now. Still don't like the way that scrapes. And then it hits, and it does scrape a bit at the end, so there's another piece, this piece scrapes as well, and you can see where it's been scraping in the past, so that's makes me wonder if that plastic hasn't warped. And this is going to be the hassle with these old machines, but we'll see if we can at least resurrect the thing. Might have to keep an eye out for another one. I wish I had kept a few spare Mechs out of these things, because I had plenty of them. Quite a lot of these got wrote off pretty quick, just because if, you know, they were just like the SD10s or something, they're really cheap basic mono machines. There's always a bit touch and go whether people would spend the money to rebuild everything. So you did end up with quite a few, and plus they got electronic problems and other things. And what was the other thing? I've got to grease this pole a bit. Get this post or whatever, and we're going to put the, oh yeah, the pinch roller, of course. Don't think these ever had a lot of grease on them, but the pinch roller is going to have to be again cleaned up inside the brass. Ideally, these are a lot bigger, so we should be able to get a cotton bud in here straight up and down, no problem. Nice. Let that dry off a bit. Check the grease. Yeah, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. The black grease is no problem at all. Now the question is, I think this sits, when these are in place, I think that just sits right on the top there. We should be able to wind it, and it's up. Wind it down, and it actually falls into that gear by the look of it. Interestingly, I don't remember that bit, but wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, so that lifts it right the way up. We want our little bracket thing on that. Yep, that should be up out of the way so that tape can come in underneath it. I've got a bit of greasy muck on that guide. Someone's been in here, so I'll have to clean everything. That's got that right. I think that's all a working upside of the deck now. Oh, what was that little, I forgot something. Oh yeah, that went in under here, I think. That wasn't real bright. I think I can sneak that in under there. That clipped onto what? Just the black brown plastic bit, I think. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, nearly forgot that little weird arm. I'm not even sure what that's supposed to do. So now we've got the upside done, I think. So this went over here. I'm sure there should be markings on these that are obvious. Yeah, like I say, I would have been able to do all these off the top of my head once. But I think it's almost enough just to get this so that they align and actually fit together at all. Yeah, that would go like that, so they should both be pulled back hard. Oh, with that other arm in the way. That pin there, that pointy bit lines with something, I think. This went like so. We've got a pointy arrow there, which I think, was that something to do with it? That's obviously where that big tooth goes. So have I got this completely out of whack? You never know. This went to that in. Oh, actually one more clip I didn't take off. I didn't even realise that. That doesn't seem right. Is there a clip there? Ah, yeah, I think that's what that arrow lines with that arrow. That's what it was. That makes a bit more sense. I don't know if I've really... It's strange there's not markings on those that are more obvious, but anyway, maybe they didn't have markings. But yeah, if that in place they point together, which they do, then I think we're pretty right. Not that we can really put this back together. I could bend that piece out of the way. I am sort of wondering whether I don't just bend that out of the way for now, if I can do it without breaking it anymore. And whether we just actually patch this thing up for the time being to see if I can get it working. Because I'm not sure I want to spend the money on it until I've seen it actually going. Would be nice. That just bends out. I might be able to melt a bit of metal into there. Ah, bugger, it broke. But that still doesn't mean I can't melt a bit of metal in there. Which way did it sit though? Like that. Might actually be a good thing that it broke, because now I can probably get it to sit in there properly, whereas before it kept springing back. But I don't know if there's actually enough room to melt something into there. Yeah, like that is roughly... Yeah, it doesn't really want to stay in there. That's it. That's where it goes. Yeah, that does actually line up better in a way. Is there enough plastic to melt a bit of spring metal in there? Or if I melt the spring into that bit first, might be the go. It's going to be a tight run thing. And then what does this slide on? It may not work. But if we get a little spring like that, that's near perfect. This is not going to work real well, I don't think. Now something's starting to melt. Not real good. Well, if that doesn't just snap off again, it'll be a bloody miracle probably, but anyway, let's try it. And now I'm going to have a bit of metal sticking out probably. Well, it's kind of a repair, but we do have a bit of metal poking out, which is not what I wanted. Don't know if I can snip that right off. Not very good for your side cutters either, cutting steel, but might be enough clearance there though that we can get away with that. Now I do have to get the master cam in as the next thing to work out the alignment on. That hole, does that align to that one? That doesn't look like it's quite the right spot, but maybe that's because it's moved. Well, that's, oh yeah, that's to there. So we need that round hole there. Maybe, oh, that might go to that, does it? Yeah, that's it. It's that little round hole there tooth in the hole. There's a little pointy arrow in this round circular hole bit underneath. I'm pretty sure that went there. But exactly where there? Well, that doesn't even actually mesh. What the? Oh, I know why. This pin. There's always some little sodding thing. So where does this pin go? Is it brakes on, brakes off? I don't know. Maybe it's brakes off. That little pin's going to have to go, yeah, probably inwards. Or not. Okay, or else I'm completely wrong about this. Oh, I can see it on the other side anyway. Oh, it's nowhere near where it's got to go. It's got to come in there, that's it. Well, I stuffed that up, but I still managed. Well, I've got these kind of mesh, but they're still not. Okay, so what we've got to do is get this little semicircular thing. There's a line near the clip. There's a semicircular bit on the outside facing outwards. I've got to try and get this piece in the right spot, and great, one of my tape guides, both my tape guides are falling out again. And then this should drop low enough to mesh, and of course it's one tooth out. Still doesn't feel like it's gone in enough. That's in the right spot, that's in the right spot. Oh yeah, they've meshed. They don't look the best, but these are a pretty flimsy, weird design. And now the tape guides have come out again. I'm getting sick of these things falling out. This is why I remember now why I don't have a very good opinion of these mechs. Not just they're super unreliable, but not much fun to work on. Grease all over absolutely everything. I just changed a CV joint in my ute that was broken in half, and it wasn't as greasy as this. So this is a pretty rotten thing to work on. I know they were definitely an unreliable mech that you saw lots of. Should have been a good video because you should have got plenty of work out of them, but they are rather filthy to work on. Now can I put all this back in? We've got some other levers. We've got one little pin there, we've got all these other pins here. This is the fun bit, and this metal pin here. So I'm still far from knowing exactly what I'm doing, but that should be there I think, because that lines with that. Are we missing a pin here? Should that be a pin in that hole? If I put that there, then that doesn't line with the master cam. But that pin would have lined with the master cam. Oh, what the? Oh no, there's another. Oh, there's two pins. Okay, so there's one in that slot. There's a metal pin there. Oh, there's a little. Oh no, there's nothing there. Oh yeah, this piece here, I vaguely remember now. That piece has to come back this way, I think, to get it. What is that? I think that had to slip to one side. Something's still not right. Oh, that metal pin there has to go up into that slot. This pin has to come across. There's a million things to juggle here. And that pin. What is that thing? I don't like the feel of this. Something's not right. And of course these are going to want to fall off again. Oh, these are the brakes. Why are they so sprung back? That one is on a pin right down the other end here, so that's another thing that's got to come in, probably back more. Well, they don't care where they go because they're only brakes. What's this other little pin here? That's another brake. So I've got to make sure this is in the right spot too. I didn't even notice that one before. That just, oh yeah, that can go anywhere under here. I think that's probably why I didn't notice it, because it's not one you got to worry about, I don't think. Yeah, so the brakes here had just been a little pain. That's in its spot. This has got to go sideways more. So that should pretty much sit in. Then we're sitting in the master cam. They're always a bit funny, these things. Is there something else? Something just doesn't feel. I think that's it. I think that is actually in place, believe it or not. And I think the other one went there, didn't it? And I may have to wind this all through by hand. It's really the only way to do it. Like that. I don't know which direction's which, of course. Oh, here we go. Ooh, why is that not? Something's wrong with the half load arm or something, is it? So this probably, yeah, that's what's causing me grief. But let's just get that out of the way for a minute. Oh, that pinch roll is still not happy. Why is there a wire here? That was your problem, probably. Ooh. Brakes are off. Oh man, things definitely do not feel great. There's a little metal bit's got underneath there, I think. Something's not right. This is lifted. Oh, this bloody thing's lifted right up now, has it? Yeah, something's not the greatest. Now, where's that half load arm thing? So we're probably ejected now. I actually want that back in the stop position. I should be in the right spot, surely. I think I need to, before I wind anything, I should have put this back in place then. Oh, actually, so I must be missing another clip here, am I? What is going on here? That's what it looks like. Oh, and I've got to get the mode switch in and aligned as well, which is probably, again, going to be aligned in this mode that I'm in. Oh, I should have put the belt on first, probably. I think you can still get around that little wheel, but not that way. Grease on it. Don't think it matters too much, but yeah, it doesn't seem quite right here that it's not held down better. Yeah, no, definitely should be a clip on there. So did I put one of these clips back in the wrong spot? I'm not sure that one should be there, should it? Maybe I don't need that one. Well, it's not actually pushing on it, so I probably don't. I'll probably put that in the wrong spot. That's it. Was that part of the mode switch? No, I should have put one back over here somewhere, but something's still not sitting seemingly right. We've got another pin here somewhere or something. What is this plastic here, I think? That's it. So it's that plastic pin there. That's where the other one should go. Oh, that's the motor, I think. That's the damn motor thing. Yeah. Okay, so I stuffed that up. I should have put that back over there, and of course then that meant that pin got out. Now I might have to give this another wind because we did have an issue with that, but I think it's fine now. Always best to wind it through by hand a few times. Something here still feels a little iffy, but I think they always did have a bit of a tight spot for that. That is pretty tight. Is that the end of it? Controls come off again, so yeah, I'd say so, but there's a very rather tight spot there. Not sure if that's another one there, which maybe this, I don't think it's the fault in this plastic bit, but it could be. That's the broken bit, so that's not the tight spot at all. I know they had tighter spots, but where is that broken bit now? There. Could it be doing something with the... Oh, maybe it's my little bit of metal that's sticking out the bottom. That's exactly where that mongrel's going to be. Oh, I don't... Am I... No, I'm at the end anyway. Could be the little bit of metal I've left sticking out there. Maybe it's just normal. I think we can call that in alignment. We come back into those holes are there. Now the mode switch. I don't think I'll even bother cleaning that at the moment. Oh, here's the arrow, which should line with some... Does it go to that line? That might be it, I think, arrow to the line. Can't see anything else it can line with, really. Because that could be annoying if we get the mode switch wrong. I get a feeling it goes here, but I can't quite see where. That can't be right. Oh, yeah, there's the pin. I think it goes on that pin. That's what I'm thinking, on that pin. Oh, against that. Yeah, that's it. There's a little, that little round bit there. It goes onto that metal pin. Make sure it hasn't moved. Yeah, that's good. I don't think you can pull these ones to bits because they got that gear thing on them, so I think you've got to buy a new one, but it doesn't hurt to pay. Doesn't hurt to clean that bit. I might for the moment just give that a slight scratching. I should use a bit of brass oil or something on those contacts. And we've still got a slippy motor potentially, or definitely, I guess. Might put it back together just for the hell of it and see if we can get this thing to do most of its functions, but we might find when we hit a tight spot this motor starts slipping and it all gets out of whack. Not out of whack as such, but it'll stuff up the timing. The microprocessor will say something's not getting where it should in the time it should, and it'll quit doing whatever function it's doing at the time. That goes like that. Slide that bit on first and try and get that other bit back in the hole like that. Screw that back down, and I think, yeah, we've used all our screws back up, maybe all of them. Oh yeah, 4 for that. We've got the ones for the circuit board. I think that'll do just for testing it. Like I say, I would like to know this machine actually is any good before I actually fix it properly. What have we got here? Just a little bit of grease, I think, there. That all looks alright, and yeah, that's the mode switch connector there. That doesn't look too tarnished on that side. Mainly seems to happen on the switch side for some reason. Yeah, we've got tension on that alright. You can adjust the tension on these belts with a little screw there. Loosen off that little pulley and adjust it. There's a better screwdriver. Well, I am rustier on these than I thought, but I could probably do a Mech much quicker than this. And they're fiddly, but I think they're wired into my brain pretty well how to do those. These I did enough, I would have thought I was pretty good at them, but turns out I don't remember that era so well. But these machines, certainly there was a lot of them coming in there for a while. I'll have to find out what year these exactly came out, but I guess maybe 96 or something, were they that sort of era? I could be wrong. Don't know when the Mech went, it might have been even earlier than that. But I guess it's the last half of the 90s or something. Would have been these lovely little fellas. And oh, I can get it, I mean, put it back on. The other thing I need to get the, I guess while we're in pieces here, I think these just come out, don't they? Yeah. Do we have to put the cassette housing in the in position? I'm pretty sure it might be in the in position or something. like so. God, so this is the bit I always forget. Is it like the G-Mech or is it not like the G-Mech? I think it went on the last. I think these ones you put back together in this sort of way, eject it and then fit all the other bits in, but I could be wrong about that because, yeah, again, I'm pretty rusty. But I'm guessing it's usually where all the alignment takes place is, I think that tool screw goes on the other side, is with the cassette housing and everything in the sort of loaded but not laced position. Oh well, we're about to find out, I guess, once we power it up. I guess I should have wound that through and double check that as well, but anyway, what could go wrong? All that alignment work will just go to waste. Now, get these fiddly ones in first. What was this thing? Oh, that was off the head or something, wasn't it? And we've got a, oh yeah, that little fiddly one on the regulator or whatever that is. Not sure which side what goes where. Oh, we'll get this side one in. Yeah, these are a lot even less fun than I remember them. I knew they weren't great, but I'm not sure they were all this difficult. Maybe the hi-fi ones are a bit more messy than the cheaper ones, more basic ones. I think the mid-drive ones might have been a little simpler to work on and to unplug and stuff, but I could be wrong. I think it was an SD 10, 20, 30 with a common one, something like that. The sort of middle mount, basic consumer models. Oh, that goes into the preamp. Which I need to plug back into the heads. But yeah, quite an epic job in the end. I knew it would be a fair time waster, but I think this will probably be the last one of these I ever look at in my life. I sure hope so. At least you can enjoy a little bit fixing the older mechs. But yeah, these were just plastic and grease and not much fun. But I was under the impression they were quite a bit easier than a G-Mech, but I'm starting to think they're not. Though this one admittedly had everything wrong with it, so it's a bit worse than they usually were. Didn't usually have to pull this top side to bits and lube it and stuff. Well, in theory, if I power that up, it should spit the mech out. In practice, it'll probably jam up and do something horrible. Let's see. Yeah, it's trying to go into play mode. Uh-oh, that don't sound, oh, that's probably the motor slipping potentially. Not totally surprised because it's hitting a tight spot, I think, when the... I guess the real question is, can I eject it? It's kind of back doing what it was originally, stuck in the exact same spot. So maybe more of it was the slipping motor. Well, that's annoying. I was hoping I could get that to spit out, but of course it wants to go straight into load mode. And we're kind of back to being stuck, or at least I can get the Mech out now. So maybe I should, well, why don't I just arrow dot it? I'm going to pull that back apart and just glue that little, the only problem is if I glue it I won't be able to get it back off again. Well, I think you can, but I don't think this is a machine I would seriously use anyway. Typical, put all that back together, and now I've got to pull it all apart again. But can I just kind of cheat a bit here? I get a feeling you could kind of just do it like that. You didn't absolutely have to pull everything to bits. Could be wrong, but did anyway that with that short wire, and that does fit in there. Yeah, that's probably alright. I might just glue it on. There's still plenty of these machines around, I think, or a quantity of them around. There was actually a second one of these I could have bought from the same place, but I didn't. I nearly bought a second one for parts, but then, like I say, these always seem to have the same thing wrong with them. So there's no point buying something for parts when it's going to have all the same faulty bits. I guess one thing I can do if I take this out too is actually see if I can get it to eject. Now that everything's lined up, I can put the loading motor back in any position. But look at the way that behaved, I think I'd have everything right as far as alignment goes. It's possible there's still a stiff spot in there or something that's causing issues. Come on, out you come. And that gear's going to want to drop out. Just be careful of these ribbon cables when you're doing stuff like this. It's going to stay there, I think. Yeah. I think for today we'll call it quits by gluing this and leaving it overnight, and then I'll come back tomorrow and we'll try it with a glued motor. Out you come. I wouldn't think they'd slip that easy, but they do. Feels quite tight on there. But I'll get rid of what grease I can off the motor shaft. It's got a date on it? It does. There you go. 2nd of September 94. I just remember they got a date on those motors. It's a little bit earlier than the middle. Actually 93 for some reason rings a bell now, but I mean the G-Mech was a product of the 80s really. I'm pretty sure they came out around 87, 88. I could be wrong. It's hard to remember all this stuff now, but I think though the early G-Mechs were fairly early, as in well in the 80s. But that helps out. So that's getting towards the end of 94, but I do get a feeling something about 93 with these machines. I get a feeling I may have even, when I put the new ones in, actually glued them now that I think about it, so that they lasted longer for people in theory. Definitely having some sort of flashbacks about using arrow dot on these, but I know I kept them in stock, so maybe I actually did put the new one on and glue it, because I used to do things like that, because you basically had to make up for all the weaknesses in these things to try and keep things going for your customers. So that was the sort of thing you used to do, try and make them last a bit longer. Because if they didn't break down too often, the regulars would keep coming back. But if they're breaking down too often, people are just like, oh, screw this, I'm chucking it out. It's just a money pit basically. So yeah, always good to keep things going a bit better than what they were designed to do. Chuck that out. So I think that's it for today. We'll let that dry overnight, or set overnight, shove that in, and if that don't fix it, I'm going to set it on fire. Now all the glue should have set on this well and truly, so time to put it back together and see if we can actually get it to go through its modes. Get that in there. That little gear's got to click in. That's about it. I just had it sitting here with the grease to hold it up so it wasn't pulling on any cables or anything. Probably want something to prop it up now. But it shouldn't be long to put that back together. Okay, got it. Yeah, a bit fiddly to do it from this angle. Put the board back in. Well, it's not doing too much wrong. Let's try ejecting. Oh, look at that. It was a slippy motor by the look of it. Although we haven't spat the Mech out yet. Why haven't you spat the Mech out? Oh, it's turned off. Come on, people. Got our hi-fi display up, power's staying on, but it doesn't want to eject. That could be part of the reason. As I think there's a tape in there, maybe it's gone into autoplay. Do I have to spin the reel? It doesn't want. It won't let me spin the reel. What the hell? Why is that reel so tight? Goes one way, but not the other. Oh, because it's got the little locker thing. Interesting. No, it's still not happy about something. Ah, typical. Unless it's light getting in there is the other option. Sometimes you've got to put the lid back over them. Might be a good idea. Let's try that. No, it pulls the guides back and stops. But it's not rotating this time or anything weird. Oh, it hasn't. Yeah, this time it's different. It hasn't turned off. Why won't it spit it out? Power on, not going into play. So again, maybe because. Interesting. Now it doesn't do anything. Mechanically. Well, it's not real happy then. Oh, that's the record switch. So what's happened here? We're in, yeah, pin controller up. Definitely hasn't spat it out though. Yeah, so if we cover that up, oh, of course, with the cover over it. Stop it. Oh, did I press power, didn't I? I wanted to press eject. So if I let that go, it stops. What am I missing? And now it's not happy for whatever reason. Yeah, something's. I wonder if we do have a dodgy mode switch or something. Yeah, I reckon I've got end sensor issues. I keep turning off. God, why can't they put the buttons in constant places? No idea. We can do the black tape over this end sensor thing trick. And that's the problem when you haven't worked on one of these for a while, you can't remember all the tricks. I should have got some Nitto tape, not that dodgy bunning stuff, a bit hard to rip, but put that over there and then put the lid over. We should go into play, or not. Yeah, going into play mode. We've got no... Should this be having a tape counter coming up at the moment? I'm not sure. Yeah, it's detecting lack of real pulses, I think. As soon as I do, I wonder if it's the control head not picking up pulses. Because I'm turning the reel and it's acting like it's not getting any real pulses. I guess the other option is, can I wind it? Maybe I'll just have to wind it myself. At least I know that's working now. Well, at least it's easy to lift up for now. But I get a feeling this connector on one of these things is starting to... I shouldn't put that wire back in yet. This connector here is starting to come apart a bit. It does have some length there. There you go. That's what I thought there'd be a bit more. Yeah, we've got two reel sensors. Did I miss anything as far as plugging anything in or anything? Wouldn't think if the... Does that have a dry joint on that? Almost looks like it does. Wouldn't think if the reel sensor was playing up. The mode switch is playing up. Yeah, it's not the greatest solder joint I've ever seen, but I don't think it's actually dry. I wouldn't think the mode switch would let anything else work very well if it was faulty. I think I might just have to unscrew this. And wind it, pull the motor out again and wind it by hand and see what happens. Because they can just be a pain when bits are out of them. If something's not being pressed, something's not happy, let's say the end sensors are not the right way, because the end sensors are used, it could be that it's not ejecting because you're meant to have one end sensor with light on it and one without, or so it'll be something. Although it shouldn't matter, the tape, if the tape's in any random position, I'll have both of them out, so covering them should work. Don't know. You just never know with these people what they've done to make your life difficult. But you can guarantee that they have made your life difficult. Oh yeah, so they've got the little breaker, light breakers. And this is the problem, when you're fiddling with things, you can cause some sort of dry joints or something. I think that LED probably could do with a resolder. So it looks like I've got to take the motor off yet again and try and wind this mech into the eject position so I can put all the pieces back in. God, this is not a good way to work on them like this, but you little. That's it. Well, probably don't even need to take that off. Of course, it's always the wrong way to turn it. Oh, God, it goes flying on its own. Uh-oh. That does not feel good. Nah, something's wrong with the load mech, I think. That's that position. We come around, this should now... Oh. Yeah, now it's a bit funny for some reasons, but anyway, let's get that to that exact point where the piece goes in. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I honestly can't remember if that's how I used to do it or not. I don't remember having to pull the mech apart, but then it's only really when there was a tape jammed in them. Otherwise you generally wouldn't go down that path at all. I don't think I need to screw the mech back in or anything. At least we can get this piece back if I'm doing it right, and hopefully just be gentle. We don't want to break any of the clips, especially this older plastic as it is now. Ah, come on, go in there. That's it, you've got to get that on that pin, that on that pin. Of course they don't want to go on them. And yeah, to get this to load you've got to lift this little bit the right way, as well as depress only two little bits. We'll try the dummy tape, see if it actually does anything, if it's happy. Ooh, it's trying to suck the tape in. Sometimes it just does that because it's not fully in position. Ooh, that ain't a good sign. Oh no, that's my fault. Because I did forget to put my finger. You got to put your finger there. Whoop, there's two of them. Oh God, why they are so scared about anyone getting something in these machines, I'll never understand. There's a double. That's it. It's like bloody Fort, the combination of Fort Knox to get a tape in the thing. And it's just a VCR, people, get over it. That's because the reel's not turning, I guess. No. Oh, we've lost power. Oh, now oh, that's right, hit power. Oh, now you can't get your finger in there, of course, to rotate anything. Even then, so there is something else here, I think, that senses why they have that little thing clicking away. I'm not sure. That could be a problem still, but I get a feeling they do that. Let's see if we can eject it. Oh well. Yeah, there's nothing really horrible on the heads or anything, I don't think. Put an old tape in. At least that just loads in nicely. It's got all the right bits on it. And it is playing, it seems. Let's fast forward. Doesn't sound the best, but that could be the old tape. Or it could be doing something nasty to the tape. It's alright that way. I don't like it when tapes make that sort of sound. Can mean they're crunching up the edge or something. Oh, looks like we've had success in the end. How do we... I might even put the front back on it, I think, just so I can actually see what I'm doing. Again, lift the door up. Where is the eject lifter? Uh-oh. What? Oh, there. Is that it? Must be on that side. So long since I looked at one, I can't remember what it uses to lift the door. So how do I get an AV in? Or do we just keep going down through the channels? That's it. One more channel down and we're in AV in. That's what it should sound like. Oh, that's a good acceptable picture. well, good news is it seems to work. So even with that slightly damaged plate in it, it is a working machine. So it was worth patching it up, I think, just to prove to myself that it does actually go. Let's get the front back on. Probably should put a signal in, I guess, and check record before I waste any money on it, but if it plays, I guess that's good enough in a way. Where are we? So we've got I guess I can go through AV in even. Okay, let's record something.
To track down the bus, Officer T needs to know which company they travelled with.
Company name, we don't know who has stolen it, maybe the driver, maybe the...
Seems to work.
After our friend said...
Other than the odd jittery bit, which may be because the set-top box is dropping out a bit.
In his recent trial with the blinkers on, 3 presidents.
All this digital tech, and it's useless.
6-1, he's well off 35 and 41. I think he gets his chance here again.
Yeah, that doesn't have the little dropouts over here, so that's probably that other tape. Might have a little bit of smear in there.
Dropping into the grain for the first time. Probably should have almost won when he ran 6.
Which could be a cap issue in this video or something.
And 5.
Yeah, nothing on the original picture, but it is VHS.
Been downgraded,
That seems to be working. I think the hi-fi's all working and everything. Well, I guess one thing we can do is... that didn't work very well. Have it. See if I can patch this tape up. I think it was actually damaged in the leader tape. Who knows? This might have been stuck in there since whatever, 20 years ago or something, when the machine may have died back then, and someone half tried to get the tape out, gave up, and just left it lying around and finally got rid of the thing more recently. One thing you can't really do, unfortunately, is get rid of the leader tape. Hopefully there's enough still attached to the tape. No, it's gone, so they've taken a section out, because you really need a reasonable leader tape for the machine. Geez, she's chockers this reel, so that the machine can stop ahead of time, especially if it's one of these super drive things that goes fast. Well, this is the tape in pieces, so it's only got a very short leader tape because someone's basically removed the section that was chewed up, I think. And this, I'll just get a Stanley knife and cut off the, try and cut that as square as I can. Sharp blade, get rid of that chewed up bit. And I'm going to do the old sticky tape trick. I definitely wouldn't recommend rewinding this thing in one of these fast machines right back to the end, because it may well break it again. But I'll try and remember not to rewind it in this machine. But it'll make a good test tape. That's what I used to use as test tapes usually, because they always got chewed up in a million places eventually, no matter how careful you were, and ended up in the rubbish. So people's old damaged tapes were the ideal thing. You generally didn't give the customers back their damaged tapes because, well, they're no good obviously, and if they play it through the damaged bits, which they no doubt would, because they're customers and they like to do silly things, and it would clog their heads up, and then they'd be blaming you or to damage something. And so we normally just tell them just throw it in the bin, and then a lot of the time I'd actually patch them up, or just, you know, just pull the chewed up section back inside the thing and just remember roughly where it was and just play the tape from there onwards. And it wouldn't take long before the next machine chewed it and the next machine chewed it, and some other machine put some grotty oily stuff on it, and eventually it'd be fairly quickly useless. Oops, I didn't get that lined up. But, you know, saved me paying for tapes, even though they weren't that expensive back then. But someone hasn't cut the end of this square. And, you know, good recycling. No point buying more stuff only to destroy it again, so I just used to use them up and use them as test tapes like I'm going to do with this one. You've got to be a bit careful where you join it. You don't want sticky tape or anything because it could potentially damage the heads. This one I've got off to one side a bit, so I might just, I don't think that'll even reach the heads, but just cut that overhanging bit off there. Obviously you should try not to get your fingers all over everything. I think that goes out through those two rollers. Should have took more notice, shouldn't I? And you've got to get these brakes out of the way so the thing drops back in. And this should, yeah, go around the metal bit through this little, they do have a little thing there, I assume, to wipe dust and stuff off. And of course now it's lifted up. There is a little wiper thing there, and just drop that brake out of the way. And yeah, barely worth the bother once upon a time, but these days they're not so easy to get hold of, these tapes. I mean, I've managed to buy quite a few blank ones, but I don't really want to rip them out of their packets if I can help it at the moment. You can still find a few brand new blank ones around the place. Generally you don't see second-hand ones, but occasionally these are good for finding old advertising and stuff on and uploading to YouTube. I did go through a heap of beta tapes and found some interesting stuff from the 80s. I think we'll take the risk. I don't think the chewy bit's going to get to the tape. And we've got something off TCM, black and white of all things. Oh, CNN now. Might have been some genuine CNN back before it turned into complete garbage in the modern world. Someone recorded a bit of something there.
Christian Party in the National Assembly.
A lot of joint targets as Iraqis.
Sounds like the hi-fi's dropping out. Assume that wasn't the Iraq War era, but who knows how old this recording is. It looks like it's off pay TV, I think.
Grace Kelly, Spencer Tracy.
That's right, Turner Classic Movies. Well, that is part of the CNN network, basically, wasn't it? Well, I guess it doesn't tell you much about... Ooh, that's not sounding the best. Much about when it was. Any dates or anything on this? Oh, come on. Ozstar, there you go. Someone's changing the channel on it, so there's a bit of Ozstar. 2003. Jeez. So it's 20 years old, this tape. Or at least that little bit over the top of it was. Oh, we've got the Brainstorm movie there. Don't think I've even heard of it. Back from 1983. What on earth are we watching there? Oh, it looks kind of techie.
I think I've got it. Gordy, go back to the grid for a second.
Now, where's the tracking on this thing? Do we just press...
What do you see, Angel?
Clockwise rotation.
You know, that's doing the channels, so... Oh, there's the tracking. There's something dicky with the remote, I think. This thing does go at a reasonable pace, but I don't think it's as quick as the later one. It's whipping along fairly quick. Certainly not as noisy as the other ones, so that's, like I say, I don't know if those other ones just sound fast or if they are fast. but the remotes seem to be playing up. They've got a little, these buttons are obviously dual function depending whether the door's open or shut, and there's a little pin there that presses this thing here. But even that didn't seem to work until I actually just punched some random numbers in on the G-code thing and sent them to the VCR, and then it seemed to work. This, because this is channel up down, these two buttons when the door's shut, and they were just doing channel up down, but now they do their proper job, VTR code 1 and 2, and then you shut it and that becomes channel, yeah, channel up and down. Where's AV gone? Yeah, so something playing up there. I don't know if it was me poking the button with a screwdriver or whether it was just, don't know. But it seems to be working now. Whoops, I'm probably going right through the tape now. What on earth we got here? Oh, we're on Win.
Sunday 8:30. What you watch on commercial television has been classified to comply with the code.
Blah blah blah. I'm not watching one of them again.
Yeah.
Win Television and Village Cinemas are giving you the chance to win one of 200 double passes to the Hobart premiere of Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl. For your chance to win,
well, that should date it.
the starring role of Jack Sparrow.
Oh, there you go, 03, so the competition date, 18th of August, 2003.
Pirates of the Caribbean competition, GPO Box 1209, Hobart 7000.
Oh, no.
Flag doctors, we'll be there immediately. It's that dreadful news of dotty goldfish from Fisherman's Creek again.
I'll take this one.
Hey, Captain! Jack! Every day, the Royal Flying Doctor Service delivers unique healthcare services to Outback Australia.
Oh, Doctor, how can I ever repay you?
Oh, Daddy. But we cannot rely on your love alone. Please donate today. What?
Well, it basically seems to be working. Make sure it spits the tape out again. Yep. So I think what I'll do is order a new one of those plates for this thing, assuming I can get them and they're not overly silly on the price. And I think this thing is basically going, there's the odd dropouts and stuff, but it seemed alright on that commercial tape. You'd think its own recording, assuming this was recorded on it. Oh, well, there's, she's a bit chewed down one side. Actually, I wonder if that's doing that as I'm playing it. Now, there's an interesting point, because it seems to finish right. Was I fast forwarding that? I was, I think. I can hear it making some crunchy noises, so it could be that it's doing something dodgy. Something to watch out. Oh yeah, see, we now got it up to the latest spots. So something's not right there. Well, that thing was sitting up. I wonder if that's the problem. Or is it this arm? Oops. It's trying to load in because I'm sticking my hands in there. We did have this arm was sitting in what I would call high, so I wonder if that's either bent. Of course, if someone's been in here, that was a hassle with people getting into these things, is they would bend everything. That would explain why that whole lever I can probably just put something under it. I might have to do it with the Mech more apart, but if I put something under there and bend that bit down, they are only flimsy, these things. Let's see if it keeps crunching the thing. The fun of VCRs, you forget just what they could be like. Okay, not sure if I recorded it, but I did bend the lever back into place a bit. It was bent, looked like someone had bent it, which is bent it upwards a bit, which is why I was also scraping on the plastic there. So probably someone, when they were fiddling around trying to get the tape out, bent that. But it's still just ever so slightly, it's fine in play and everything, but if you go to vision search, you can see the tape slightly go down, and where there's a little brass piece on that little arm, you can see it just bend over a little bit there. It's leaving a bit of a crease on the tape. I just had a look at it. It's making a bit of a funny noise as well while it's doing it. And if you actually take off the back tension slightly, it also fixes it. So maybe there's an issue there with the back tension, or we've still got something out in the tape path. But yeah, something's not 100% there. Not uncommon to see stuff like that. It's not that often you normally vision search anyway, but it's no good if it's actually damaging the tape. I'll go back a little bit and see. Often you'll find tracking, you might get some tracking issues or something, or a little bit of flag waving or something at the bottom. If it's damaged the tape, and it's probably just destroyed this ad brake that I would have no minded saving. That seems to be alright.
Anti-aging total effect. Your skin may never look the same.
You can hear it now, it's still making a little bit of a noise. Oh, actually it's rippling on the bottom of the drum there.
The look of age spots diminishes. It keeps working to help fight the 7
so that's a bit of sound drop out. So it could be something's not right. Yeah, the hi-fi is dropping in and out, I think.
Love the skin you're in.
Seems to have about the right back tension on it. Maybe it wants backing off a little bit.
Like a Super GMC Power Tool 4-pack, $99. Or Kether Toolbox with organizer.
Yeah, that's fine, I think.
Or Stanley 6-piece screwdriver set.
Yeah, the hi-fi is dropping out for sure.
Go on, make it.
Guess I should try another tape just in case there's something up with this one. Even worse, it's television. Usually they'll do it on everything. At the moment it actually looks alright. Oh no, I can see it's crinkling over there a bit though.
Yeah, okay. That's great.
Yeah, it's riding down a bit. So something's still not right. Always seems to be in the forward direction though. To be fair, I think it's actually riding low all the time. That looks like a slight crinkle on this guide near the head there.
Did you look into your eyes? Or did you look at your mouth?
Something's making a funny noise.
If you looked at your mouth, it means you wanted to kiss you. Eyes?
Oops.
Wait. See? Nothing to worry about.
Problem with that is it can be caused by all sorts of things being out in the tape path. Yeah, this one's riding down quite a bit. Oh yeah, crunching the hell out of the tape. It's dragging down a lot.
Keep an eye on him while he was recovering, but I reckon.
What is Australia's national dish?
Now if it's just on the drum, it can be just the tape guide is out a bit. But this, it could be one of these other parts is out, and this is why I like to get these machines going. It may still be something to do with the faulty broken bit underneath there is not right, you never know. That's fixed. Sometimes these heads, if someone's knocked them out, can cause weird issues. Worth checking the pinch roller because sometimes the bearings collapse in them. I think that one's okay. It's got a fair bit of play, but they normally have a bit. Just check that that guide isn't actually loose. Oh, it is. but it's not. That should normally be tightened up. Yeah, they're both quite loose, but you will get lines on the screen when you tweak that out a bit. If I rise that up enough that we get lines on the picture, it actually fixes the issue of the actual. So I thought it seems a bit low on the control head as well. So that was right about there. So the whole thing is pulling down. That's low on the control head. And I never touched any of the control head. I wonder if someone has though. That's probably why the hi-fi isn't 100% happy. I wonder what's causing that. They can be, if I put more pressure on the pinch roller, it seems to. So it could be, like I say, something in his. I think that's rising up when I put more pressure on the pinch roller. That does affect it a bit. And in fact that is better, I think. Still dropping a bit compared to what it was.
Yes, thou art more lovely.
Well, the head's at least sitting better, but whether that's just because I moved the head. It's not crunching though. I have had these heads cause things like that, but normally I know if someone's messed with them. But that's stopped it crunching and carrying on. Possibly it's just made up for whatever's really wrong with it, but these issues can be a real pain.
Go on, make his day.
Hi-Fi doesn't sound too good on that one.
With a gift from Thrifty.
Although that might be where I'll shoot it now. It still drops a bit, but not as bad as it was. It's not crunching the edge up, I don't think. No, it's fine. Does that guide push it down? Possibly. Uh-oh, what have I done? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like I said, still dropping slightly, but not crunching the edge at least. Let's go the other way, because that was sometimes playing up as well. Whoop. Oh, don't tell me the motor's. My motor's broken free again, I think. You gotta be joking. Definitely got to replace the coupling then, I think. So I should be able to lift this back up. I've got enough length still on that. Yeah, I can't believe that little son of a gun's gone again, but that's life for you. Really annoying not having my little box of video parts that I could just, always had all the common bits in there and could just fix something on the spot. So handy when you can just grab the thing, put a new one in there, chuck the old one in the bin and not mess around like this. But the good news is I should be able to wind this by hand without the motor. And get this tape. One hassle we do have is we've got to get this motor little plastic bit out, which I don't know if I can do that or not. Oh yeah, it's gone. Okay, party time. And of course I turned the wrong way to start with, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to have to probably provide some capstan winding here if I can get these tape guides to come back in. Whoa, am I going the right way? Yeah, I am. Geez, that is tight. Cool. That pinch roller is something super tight on there. Anyway, maybe putting the new piece in, like I say, that could be something to do with my dodgy repair of that thing. Ugh, why is my capsule not working? Oh, I don't tell me the reels don't work. I can actually turn the reel manually, can I? Oh, I'm going the wrong way though. Yeah, it looks like the reels are engaged, I think. Well, they shouldn't be. Ah, I was turning the motor the wrong way maybe. That would do it. Ah, the things you got to get in the swing of again. Come on. Now the cassette housing's usually a bit springy and weird. Yeah, but it's not going. Why is it not? Don't know. So I was already at the end, but it hadn't sprung out, so that's a bit weird. Ah, what's catching here? So let's have a look at our little friend. Should I even bother pulling it to bits? I think we know it's got to be stuffed. Yeah, it certainly didn't last long. Can I flick it sideways and just see if it's loose? Wrong screwdriver. Oh yeah, slippery as yet. No, that didn't stick at all. So Aerodite definitely doesn't work, but it lasted long enough to do what I needed to do, so that's all I care about. I think we'll put that back in this little hole. Try and put a fair bit of this back together. So yes, I'll put this all back together, or roughly back together, some parts in a bag inside. And I'll get those parts on order, which could be another month or two, but anyway, we'll get that done. And we'll go from there. Thanks, and I'll do a video, a quicker video, just showing exactly how to do it, I guess. Or at least how to change the plate and the motor, or just the, I guess the motor and the plate are the main things. We won't have to go through as much alignment because I won't have everything apart as much. I'll just be getting that plate. Should be just back straight in, get the mech where I want it, possibly swap it, get all those little levers and stuff lined up, and then it'll be interesting. I might even run it through, if I remember, I'll run it through one time by hand, see how stiff it feels, especially that pinch roller thing. But remember, they always were somewhat tight there, and then I might just put the new one in and see if it's any better. It could be that little metal bit I had sticking out is catching a bit. It's probably something silly like that, or there could be some other issue, but since I lubed everything up I wouldn't think so. But anyway, thanks for watching.